Hello one and all, and welcome to Behind the Glass, your weekly automotive podcast hosted by two rather uninformed enthusiasts.
No.
I'm Sam from the YouTube channel Seen Through Glass.
I'm Tony from Gravelwood Car Sales.
And you can watch us each week. We hope you enjoy the episode. Well, everyone, welcome to 2024. We're back.
We are back.
We've been away for a long time, so long, we forgot how to do this. Or at least I forgot how to do this.
No, you'll be all right, mate.
No. But we should be honest with people. Because we did actually already record our first episode back from our winter's break.
Yep.
But I had to put it in the bin, so we're doing it again.
Would you like to tell the ladies and gentlemen why you had to put it in the bin?
Well, two things. So firstly, I'd got the camera angle wrong. I cut myself out, which maybe wouldn't have been a disaster.
No, that's done everyone a favour.
Maybe people would have been happy.
Yeah.
And then also there was like a weird humming on one of the microphones. Like,
that was me. I was having to sing to myself.
Because you were so bored.
Yeah, I was bored listening to you. I'm going to get it this week as well.
Well, as you know, and as I think most of the audience now know, I'm a perfectionist. And I just couldn't, as our first episode back from our winter's break, I couldn't just let that one go out. So I said, Tony, I'm sorry, we've got to do it again.
It's always so weird because you are such a perfectionist, but you buy like the worst cars in the world, but you're a perfectionist. It's like the most peculiar thing in a person.
We
so
are.
Odd.
I don't actually know how. I think we're like 2 minutes into the episode, maybe less.
Got it on it.
And you've just straight away tried to just go in on me. And that's especially painful considering that one of our first topics is going to be my new car, which I'm almost nervous to bring up. But anyway, we are back. We did have a sort of prolonged winter's break for a number of reasons. But we're back and we're ready for what is hopefully going to be an epic 2024. You guys were amazing in 2023 supporting this show. We did some awesome stuff. Obviously finished the year strong in Australia. But we got bigger and better plans for this year. So we're going to do that cliched YouTuber thing and say, stay tuned.
Go big or go home.
Yeah, no. Which was my motto about 3 years ago. So we've got to think of a new one. I think we're just going big.
Well, you've made it now,
home.
mate.
I have made it.
You might as well just shut the channel now.
Retire.
The main channel, just shut it.
Yeah.
You completed it.
Well, let's come back to that in a second. Those of you that are watching, you may notice we're not in our usual studio surroundings today.
No.
That's because, as I say, I fluffed up the recording and Tony didn't have time to come back to the studio. So we're here at your new... What is this? This is the handover bay?
Yeah, this is so... I restructured the business last year. I'm glad I did now as well. So we just got rid of a load of overheads. So we come out the bigger unit that we had. There's an office behind the camera. This is a new handover bay. So we've got a big compound now because we're an internet business, mate, now. So half the people we sell cars to don't even meet them anymore. They don't even come here. So
there was no need for a big glitzy showroom.
It wasn't a showroom anyway, but it was a big unit. But you know, I made the so literally. Do you want to swap seats? but literally, I made a decision 8 or 10 years ago to move into unit because that was the way that the world was going with the internet and stuff. So, you know, when you run a business, it's all about keeping your overheads down. So we restructured a little bit last year because obviously we knew about the downturn coming. I'm glad I did now as well, to be honest. And actually, this is better. This is miles better the way that we run now. So not all cars are on site anymore. They're very, very local, but they're in a compound locked away. So they're actually safer because they're not here. It just suits us loads better.
Yeah, well, for the audio listeners, it's like a small room, I guess, very small building. We've got a lovely Range Rover Sport SVR parked behind us, which is part of Tony's stock. As he mentioned, there's a little office behind the camera, which is a bit warmer than it is in here, but we'll move past that. But it's great, man. I think it's super cool. You've got the big old Latham steel security doors at the front.
We had them installed. Yeah.
You might remember they were a big sponsor for our Australian tour, and you actually got their doors installed.
So no one's getting in here.
Yeah, literally. we attacked all their doors with sledgehammers. Never got through them.
You got better chance of knocking a wall down.
Yeah. Actually, that's if you want to nick any of Tony's stock, just come with the bulldozer and knock down
through the wall.
The walls before the doors.
The door, yeah.
But no, it's super cool. And actually, just on audio listeners, from next week onwards, the audio versions of these episodes will go live earlier than the video episodes, and there'll also be extended cuts. So essentially, I know lots of you like to listen to these podcasts in the car or on your headphones on the way to work and things like that. We want to amplify your experience a little bit because we've been focusing on YouTube so much in the last 12 to 18 months. So yeah, essentially it'll be Tuesdays or Wednesdays, so a day or two early, the audio will go live and there'll be slightly extended versions. And then the normal video episodes will go out as they always have done midday on Thursday.
And that would have happened this week, by the way, but Sam
Fluffed it.
nosed it up.
But potentially not the last time this year, let's face it.
No, this happens fairly often, actually.
You would think we'd be, or at least I'd be a pro at this point, but yeah, 5 or 6 years in, I'm still making mistakes.
It's so funny as well.
I'm only human.
It's so funny as well, because when I spoke to him yesterday, we was talking about other stuff. And he said, oh, mate, I've got something to tell you.
Right at the end of the call.
Right at the end of the
By the
conversation.
way,
And I always know when he's got something to tell me that's disappointing because his voice, his note in his voice changes slightly. And I thought, I know what he's done. I know what he's going to say. And he said, we've got to do the episode again. And immediately I said, you didn't press record, did you? Because that's normally what happens. But he did press record. He just nosed it up.
Yeah, nosed it up.
Perfectionist, man.
Yeah. Well, anyway, here we are, and people will be excited we're back, and it's exciting to be in your new space, and we've got lots of exciting things to talk about.
Yeah.
And I suppose we should kickstart with, I guess, the biggest news on the main channel that there's been for quite a long time.
Yeah.
My challenge Stradale.
I know, mate.
Well, this is old news for you.
Well, but yeah, I mean, you bought it about a year ago, as far as I'm concerned. You've been talking about it since I've known you. I've known you 8 years now, and you've been rattling on about that car since I've known you from day one. So I've seen it.
You've seen it. So yeah, okay, let's paint a bit more of a timeline. I mentioned it a little bit in the reveal video. I have owned the car for a bit of time. It was pre-Christmas. Then a lot of things were going on in my life.
Pre-COVID it was.
It didn't feel like the right time to film it and reveal it. And also I wanted to just live in the moment. Like you said, it's a car I've been talking about for 10 years on the channel. And I just wanted to be present in the moment and just get used to the car. Just be like, oh my God, before I then try to film it all.
Yeah.
So let's go back to before you saw it. Let's go back to when I told you I was bidding on the car and then eventually won it. What were your actual thoughts? Because it obviously, as most people know, I think if you've watched the main channel video, the car's not the most perfect version. It's not like a delivery mileage, immaculately well kept. You know, it hasn't moved for 10 years.
No.
So yeah, what did you think?
Well, I thought when you was telling me he's flapping, because you were genuinely flapping. I got a voice note. I think I got a voice note. You said, mate, I've been on a challenge Stradale, and there's like 2 hours to go, and I'm the highest bidder. And you could hear it in his voice. He was
genuinely freaking out.
I just don't know what I'm going to do. He's like really flapping. So, and then you went, I won.
Yeah.
won.
I think you were the first person I texted. I think before I told my wife, who I banned to the other room, because she was like, what are you doing? I was like, oh, you don't need to know.
Go away.
I think I texted you like, oh, mate, I won. Like, what? I won.
And that's not the first time that's happened, by the way. I mean, I normally know about his car purchases before anyone because he flaps when he tells me. We got the old McLaren story that we've told many times before. There's obviously loads of others. But first of all, I was genuinely pleased for you because you've obviously bought your dream car that you've had on, as your poster car. You've always spoke about it. So fair play to you, mate. I mean, I'm made up for you that you've managed to purchase your dream car. You come here in it. The first thing I said when you got out, and actually, I didn't realise that I said it. You opened the door, I went, what a piece of...
You went, that's the biggest pile of crap I've ever seen. I thought, to be honest, there's nothing else I would have preferred you to say.
Yeah.
But it did slightly kill me because I was like, I understood where you were coming from on the Moderna. Like you were cutting me to the core, but I was like, okay, like it's a car that but like, come on, this is a challenge Stradale. Surely you're not going to slag off this thing.
But actually, when you got out, I was only winding you up, mate.
Thank God, I would have really cried.
It's a proper bit of kit, and even like when I saw you pull in it, the noise, the way it looks, like it does look really special. You can tell it's a special car, you know.
It's got such a different presence, doesn't it, to the Moderna,
which is amazing. Like when you think,
and it's really only having spent time with it over the last few weeks and walking up to it and leaving it that it's really hit me just how different the look and feel is. And I think a lot of people, most of our audience and the main channel audience know this. But I have seen some comments being like, is it really that different to the Modena?
Yeah.
It is night and day. It
Yeah.
honestly is such a different car and visually alone before you even get into turning it on and driving it away. So yeah, no, look, I'm glad I brought it down so you can have a look at it. You're going to be seeing a lot more of it, especially when we do the Mille Miglia in it later this year. I'm joking. But
We're going to do that in the 1940s one.
Yeah, mate. Do you know what? There's a big part of me that is so tempted to sign you up without telling you to like the original Mille Miglia, the one in like the pre-1960s cars. Do it in like I don't even know what some of those cars are, but an old...
On a Bentley blower or something.
Yeah! Oh, can you imagine? We would die.
Oh, mate. We nearly died last time.
But I think if we do one of those events again, which I am tempted to do, by the way.
Okay.
I think maybe we should either flip it so that you're the driver and I'm the co-driver, or at least we share the driving.
We share the driving.
I think that's got to happen.
Yeah. Well, last time we was meant to share the driving, but obviously my driving license issue stopped that.
Yeah.
So you had to do all the driving.
And that's not that Tony was banned or anything like that. He didn't have like a shadow ban. He just literally forgot to renew the physical card. And so the Italians were like, no
way.
Not possible.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, it's a momentous moment. As I say, it's a little bit old news for us. I filmed the reveal video. Actually, a lot of the reveal video pre-Christmas with Paul Wallace was my stunt driver. That was an interesting decision by me.
The worst stunt you've ever
I don't know what I was thinking. I was like, well, to be fair, Paul actually came with me to collect the car when I won the auction and bought it. By the way, absolute legend, the previous owner.
Oh, I thought you meant Paul.
No.
So
Well,
we're
he
talking
is.
about.
I mean, Paul's a legend as well. The most unassuming, nice, charming, time... what's it called? Not time. Generous with his time.
Fair.
And he sent me a message saying, "Oh, look, if you want, come and collect the car from my house down in here. And there's a few other bits knocking around that might interest you."
Nice cars.
Well, I was like, "Oh, yeah, cool. Right.
Here we go.
Here we go. Another collector. He's gonna be like, look at my Fiesta."
Fiesta.
Anyway, he had some cars that are like outrageous cars.
Yeah.
I should probably actually send him a message and just say, like, if you ever want any of your cars filmed, we're here, ready to take them out. But yeah, super nice guy. Took us for lunch. And Paul was my delivery driver for the day. He took me down and we drove back together. And then, so when I needed some help filming some of the flybys and some of the drone stuff for the reveal video, I said to Paul, I said, well, look, come and do it with me. But yeah, in hindsight, it was awful weather. The car is really sketchy. I mean,
Was it old tyres, right?
Well, yeah, in general, but I think the tyres are... it's going down to orders to get inspected this week, so
Still
we'll
now?
find out. I haven't changed the tyres.
Oh.
But they don't feel new. So that could have been a big crash. I don't know what I was thinking, but my head was all over the place pre-Christmas, so I was just like, I just need to get the shots because I don't know what my next few weeks are going to be like. So let's just bank some content. And I put Paul in the car and said, you can go in race mode. He didn't want to.
Did he not want to?
No, he was like, I won't want to. And you know what he did? Bloody bellend. Pride and joy, I bought my dream car, couldn't have been happier in my life. He got in, I said, right, there you go, that's what you had to do. He went to start it, used the start button. What happened? Pulled the start button off.
Oh, well, hold on a minute. To be fair to Paul, I mean, that doesn't sound like Paul's fault. That sounds like a car
100%
problem.
was Paul's fault. I've driven that car now at least 500
Twice.
miles. No, I've done a lot of miles in that car.
Oh, wow.
Over 500 miles already in it.
Right.
And the start button has never come off in my hands.
Right.
So I don't know what he was doing, but he was amused. I was not. Can you imagine? My first day filming with it, put somebody else in it and he pulls off the starter button.
Well, he sent me a video saying the engine management light had come on.
Oh,
Laughing.
yeah. So this is one thing which I've learned. Because this is from the Modena days. It's a cold startup thing. It's actually an ECU flash that you can just get rid of it. But on cold startups, unless you let everything warm up, and even if you do sometimes let things warm up a bit, you just get a light.
Yeah,
you
fair.
literally, by the time you turn the car on and off, or off and on, it's
Sort
disappeared.
back out
Yeah,
again,
yeah.
yeah.
So,
Yeah. They are special, them lightweight Ferraris, aren't they?
they're so
They
special.
are
mate.
just-
It's very, very cool.
Yeah.
And so I took it for its first public outing at the weekend.
Yeah. Where'd you
Down
go?
to Bicester Heritage for one of their Scramble events.
Okay, yeah,
Now,
yeah.
you've never been to one of the Scrambles
Never
before,
been,
have
no.
you?
No.
Have you ever, were you aware of them? Do you know that they happen?
Not really, no.
Ah, interesting. So I was aware of them for sure, and I've always seen pictures. I was never able to get there because I was always somewhere else. I was always busy whenever the events were on. But
You're a busy guy.
I'm a busy man, Tony, as are you. But this one fell in line. I thought, what a perfect way to take the challenge. Stradale, the Collecting Cars boys, had a stand. They said, if you want to display your car on our stand, you can do it. I was like, yeah, great, because that's obviously where I bought the car or won the auction and collected cars. Oh my God, it was like Festival of Speed. This thing, dude, there were thousands of people. There were manufacturer stands, Bentley, Alpine, Singer had a whole thing going on. There were 2 Gordon Murray T50s. I was like, Tony should be here. It was food stands. And you know what? I know you and I are sometimes a little bit sniffy about static car shows because over the years in the UK, we've been to so many that we often feel like we're seeing the same cars over and over again.
Yeah, that's what they make me feel like, yeah.
So I go for the people these days. I go for the people because you're right, you usually have seen the cars. But there were so many interesting, quirky and different cars at Scramble. I genuinely enjoyed it.
Fair.
I usually just hide out by my car and talk to my mates or go and find people that I know. I did like multiple laps of the Scramble going, well, this is bloody crazy. And so my mum came and Vicky came with the baby and the dogs came as well. And so I gave them a bit of a tour. My mum couldn't believe it.
Really?
She's like, what is this? Like she thought it was going to be like 50 people in a field. I had to explain to her what Bicester Heritage was. It was super impressive.
Yeah,
it was super impressive. So I'm going to definitely try and go back. I think the next one's in April or something like that. But I don't know if you would enjoy it. Actually, I don't think you would enjoy it. Because it's all the niche stuff. It's like, this is an Alpina Z4.
Oh, yeah, no, that's not a miserable old man.
Yeah, I think you would slag everything off. There was a brown 997 911 Turbo with a roof box.
I saw that. Freddie TFJJ put that up. Yeah, I saw some of because he's everywhere, isn't he? That
He's
boy?
everywhere.
Literally everywhere.
I saw him. I said, don't bloody break the embargo, Freddie. Because he was like posing up to take a photo of my car. I was like, hold on, Freddie.
Wait a minute.
I think he still broke the embargo, but anyway.
Did he?
I'll let him because his photos are amazing.
Yeah, fair.
We've got to stop shouting him out, by the way. We've got to start charging him for a shout out.
Yeah, we should, yeah.
Anyway. So before we move on, new segment, new feature that we're going to be doing 2024, Stock Watch.
Stopwatch. Yeah, it's quite good, that one.
That's all right, not too bad. Yeah. Essentially, we spend our lives sending each other links to cars for sale.
Yeah.
Whether we think, oh, that's good value, that's not good value, that's an interesting car. Most of the stuff I send you, you go, what are you thinking?
Yeah, literally.
Should we talk about the brown Panamera?
Well, let's talk about the old Volvo that you sent me.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, what was
that
that
was
about?
The 750R.
I don't think I replied to that.
That was before. No, a lot of them
just
you ignore.
double-ticked you.
You send me stuff which you think is a bargain. So you keep sending me 296s going, look at the value of this.
Well, they are, mate, because you put a post up the other day. They're the same money as F8s.
If not, in some cases, less than an F8. That is weird. And Twitter was like, that's because it's a V6. I'm like, oh, jog on.
Go away.
Go away.
Yeah.
It's because everyone bought them to get Purosangues.
Correct.
And now the Purosangues. I mean, that is weird. Anyway, that's another topic. Let's come back to the whole 296 thing and Romas and Ferrari values.
We're not going to do that today, are we?
No, I don't think so. We'll come back
fine.
to that. But anyway, long story short, we do this constantly. And so what we thought we'd do is share some of this with you each week.
Oh, you should.
And just cars that we've spotted or things that we're interested in. Actually, this week, our first episode or first segment of Stock Watch. I'm going to get that wrong, aren't I?
Yeah, you're going to say stopwatch.
Stockwatch has been sponsored by our friends at Alexander's Prestige.
Yeah.
So shout out. Obviously, Andrew's been on the show a number of times before. We've done a few live episodes. They very kindly sponsored the first segment of Stockwatch. So we jumped on, had a look, see what they had in stock at the moment, picked out a car each. Now, for me, Cayenne Turbo GT.
Yeah.
Firstly, green car. Not convinced about the gold alloys, but that's something
That's the way they are, though, right?
No, they're like I've seen some without gold alloys.
Most of the ones I've seen have had goldish or bronze alloys.
Actually, you're right. I think that's the default.
Yeah,
but I just don't like the way it clashes with the green. Personal choice. Fair. But what a car! And this is listed at circa, I think it's 145.
That's it.
It's for me of those super SUVs, those drive SUVs. I think it's the best handling one,
which is not surprising, being it's a Porsche, you know, because basically, as most of you know, it's basically an RSQ8, or if you go up a step, it's an Urus. But it's obviously they all have their little characteristics of how they behave, you know. So they all probably drive. I've not driven the Cayenne. I've driven the other two, but I've not driven the Cayenne. They've all probably got their different characteristics, essentially, but they're all very similar, all basically the same car.
Great brakes as well.
Yeah.
And anyway, it's a green Porsche. The reason that I jumped out of it is not only the spec. I thought they were like nearly 200 grand.
Well, they were 180-ish not that long ago.
And
6 months
so
ago.
they have, let's say, benefited from the recent slowdown of the
They've had
market.
a correction.
They've had a correction,
Like
which
everything has.
is great. And I think if you're in the market for that super SUV stuff, which I don't usually like, that one I think is a pretty good price point because RSQ8 doesn't have it's not got a Porsche badge.
Of course not.
Urus is another 25, 30 grand maybe above for a similar year.
Easily for age and mileage.
So that was my pick. What caught your eye?
So, as we talk about price corrections, it was a Range Rover, actually.
Oh, yes, that P440E.
Yeah.
80 something, 85?
Was it 90 grand or
Something
something?
like that, yeah.
For like, it done a few hundred miles. And I just think Range Rovers in general now, because they've had that correction, they're good value for money again.
Well, you've got a pre-facelift, sorry, an old shape SVR behind us. That's a 70 plate. How much is that?
It's a 2021 car. It's like 65 grand.
That's insane,
I know.
isn't it? But the new ones are infinitely better. We don't know with the SV yet because I don't think they've...
But they're going to be
Run out,
100 grand more than them, mate.
Fair. But
You know.
but you're right to have picked out that sport because they were 110, 115 at some point.
Really not that long ago.
And that's essentially a delivery mileage car.
Absolutely.
So they're starting to look like good value.
Yeah,
one way or
and
another.
obviously Alexander Prestige, they do a lot of SUV stuff as well. So take your pick, guys. There's
Tons
millions
there.
of them. Yeah.
So if you want to go and check out more stock from Alexander's Prestige, the awesome team, Andrew and everyone else that works there, you can head over to Alexander's Prestige's website, which is in the link in the description of this episode, whether you're listening to it or watching it. Those are our two picks. They've got plenty of other juicy stuff. So thank you to Alexander's for sponsoring the first stock watch. We'll be back with you next week for a few other cars we've spotted for sale online.
And actually, can I put in actually that if there's any dealers watching that would like to sponsor the episode in this way, perhaps get in touch as in email.
Yeah,
or,
we weren't planning it for it to be a sponsored segment.
Yeah.
But if you'd like to, we're open to it.
I think so. Yeah.
Some weeks can be sponsored, some weeks can't, because we're going to want to be rude about people at times as well. You're going to go, that's overpriced, and that wouldn't be very good if it's a sponsor. So we'll do some weeks which maybe aren't sponsored just to make sure that we've got, But anyway, there we go. Let's move on. Tell me, mate, what did you get up to at Christmas? Because we talked about the fact that I bought a Cayenne Stradale. What have you been up to?
Well, I didn't buy a car.
That's a surprise. Usually that's your favourite thing to do at Christmas.
Yeah, I do treat myself sometimes, to be fair. Normally it's a birthday or a Christmas present, but not this year, mate. Times are hard, you know. So
I can tell by what you're wearing.
I can only have salmon twice a week. So,
salmon twice a week. Is that an old 1960s joke?
Yeah, it's an
I don't
old
get that.
joke. Yes, some of the older people will get it. You won't get it. It's lost on you, like most things.
I have salmon all the time.
Of course you do, from Harrods. Yeah. So, so I went on holiday. So it's the only time of year really. I know I go away at different points throughout the year. A lot of that's work now. It's the only time I get to have a family holiday, and the only reason why I choose Christmas is because I don't really lose too much time at work.
For sure. I think a lot of people do, yeah.
Yeah, so it's always nice to go. And I like going away. So we went to Abu Dhabi.
Lovely.
Yeah, so Dubai and Abu Dhabi is just a good destination to go. Not a long flight, perfect for kids. There was 9 of us that went.
Hot?
So mid to late 20s, 27, 28 every day.
Yeah, that's nice.
So
yeah.
nice, not a cloud in the sky. It was just genuinely nice. So we went to Abu Dhabi, stayed in the W Hotel. Which,
The one in the centre of Yas Marina?
yeah, so when you look at the racetrack, it's literally in the middle.
Yeah, so during the Formula One race, it's always lit up. They use all the lights. So that big building in the centre of the track, that is a hotel.
Yeah, it's lit up all the time, not just in Formula One. But
Oh, cool.
yeah, cool story. So, but the reason
Are
why
they sponsoring this episode?
not yet. But the reason why we went there is all the theme parks are all within 10-minute drive, big mall. And Abu Dhabi is very, very similar to Dubai, just quieter. And obviously for the kids, for the theme parks, it's perfect. So we went to all the theme parks, went to the water park.
Love the water park.
Yeah. Well, I got a bit scared.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Honestly, mate, I'm not a big rides person, but
the water parks, this is splashing around.
No. Some of them slides, mate. I mean, they're frightening. And I'm like 14 stone, so I go down there quickly.
Aren't they frightening for like a 6-year-old?
No, my daughter's like the bravest kid ever. She just piles in them all. She literally doesn't care. She says, Daddy, can you come? And I don't really want to go. Luckily, the teenagers were there, so they all went on with her. But we went on this big family donut thing, right?
Sure.
Where it was so specific. The guide that was putting us on was spreading the weight around the donut.
Oh my
So
God! So where did you
adults-
end up?
nearly
In your
on my
own
head. So they put us like at different. So my brother-in-law was there. So they put us all in similar parts of the thing. We went down this big slope, really fast, completely dark, and it just caught me out, mate. And I literally thought I was going to die. Like honestly, like
I would have loved to have seen this.
Oh mate, the whole colour, because I thought I was coming out.
Yeah.
Because I went down backwards.
Sure.
All the way down
So
to
you
the
thought
bottom.
you were going to fall out backwards?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it looped back the other way, and I thought I was going to fall out forwards, but I wasn't expecting the forward bit because I couldn't see what was coming because I was going down backwards.
Sure.
So I thought I was going to die. I literally thought this is how I die.
I think most people know I have a long history with going to Bali in Indonesia.
Yeah.
And it must have been about 20 years ago, they built a water park there. And let's say to maybe Indonesian safety standards.
Do you
let's
like
say.
water parks?
I love a water park.
fine.
Prefer a water park to a theme park.
Yeah, me too.
And there was like their big slide.
Yeah.
Was like, it sort of had multiple drops. And
Yeah.
I must have been...
Flapping?
No, it must have been 9 or 10. Maybe it was a bit older. Maybe I was 11 or 12.
Yeah.
Off we went to the water park. Launched off the top. And as I came off the first, drop or bump in the slide,
Wow.
I came out of the slide.
Oh, that's not funny.
Out of the slide.
Where'd you go?
Landed back in it, thank God.
Did you?
But literally about 18 months later, they had to take the slide down because somebody had come out and all the way to the bottom. I don't know if they died.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So obviously you've got these other slides as well that are literally vertical.
Do you stand in the thing and it releases the floor?
Mate, that is the
I
thing-
did that in Dubai.
That is not funny.
Yeah. And you're waiting, they go beep, beep, and it goes.
So
and
there's
just drop.
There's one in Dubai in the Atlantis Hotel.
Yeah,
There's
that's
one
the one
there,
I've done,
and there's another one obviously in Abu
wow.
Dhabi. There's similar parks, but the water park in Abu Dhabi is a little bit smaller, but it's quieter as well. So all the kids, all the teenagers, Molly wasn't allowed to go on it. She's too small, but she went on all the rest of them. Yeah, they literally you stand on a plank basically, and it just releases.
Yeah.
And you just like fall to your death.
Amazing. What a ride. What a thrill.
Not really.
I love that, mate.
It's the worst thing ever.
I love a water park. There's actually a video, I talk about it every now and again, on my channel of me, Shmee, Seb Delaney and Paul Wallace in the Dubai water park.
I've heard this story, yeah.
A vlog of 5 out-of-shape white guys walking around a water park. There's not a car in shot. What a video.
Was it
I think
good
it's
fun?
got like 90k views.
Yeah, perfect.
God, YouTube was fun
Very
back then.
good. And then we went to, for the viewers that have got kids, we went to Warner Brothers.
Warner Brothers, okay, yeah,
which
sure.
which you'll have to take your daughter there at some point.
I'm sure.
It is incredible.
Okay,
It's the biggest indoor theme park in the world.
Wow.
It's honestly, mate, it's like even I thought this is mega.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So loads of rides in there, spent a whole day in there as well.
Wow.
And then we went to Ferrari World.
Oh, and now we're talking.
Now
so
we're talking.
I've never been.
Right.
Which is weird because like I am
Mr. Ferrari.
World. Yeah.
I mean, you own one.
Yes, I do, Tony. What's it like? What actually happens in Ferrari World?
Well, there's lots of roller coasters, which I
Interesting.
stayed away from.
Well, there's the world's fastest, isn't there?
Yeah.
The one that just shoots off.
So again, they all went on that. I didn't go on it. My daughter wasn't allowed to go on it. She would have gone happily if they'd have let her, but she wouldn't go on it. Mate, you can't believe how fast it shoots you away.
Do you know the stats?
It's like 0 to 150 mile an hour in like 2.5 seconds. It's like insane how it literally looks faster than an aeroplane taking off.
Okay, so how fast is the roller coaster at Ferrari World? 0 to 240 kilometers an hour in 4.9
Yes,
seconds.
unbelievable. And then it goes.
That's a joke. I mean, I knew it was fast, but that's a joke.
Yes.
Yeah, 150 miles an hour in 4.9 seconds.
Yeah, yes.
What's the Chiron?
Not
Chiron.
that fast.
Isn't that fast?
No.
Oh, sorry. Okay,
150 and 4.9.
Oh, yeah, fair. No, but it is something like 0 to 124 in 6 something.
But yeah.
Chiron acceleration 0 to 124. The Chiron has 0 to 200 kilometers in 5.8.
Yeah.
So it's a second and a
faster.
bit. It's probably a second and a half faster
Yeah.
than a Chiron.
And then so once you've done that, and I love speed, obviously, but not on a roller coaster. I'm not in control. And then it goes on a really steep incline, and then a really steep decline.
Wow.
So I thought I'm not going on that. But apparently the rest of it's not that bad. It's just that
just
first
that initial
bit,
acceleration.
That initial first. Well, the acceleration I would have been fine with. It would have been the up and down. Mate, it would have done me in. So
Let's see if they've got a Formula One car, because I bet that's what it's trying to replicate, right? F1 car.
An F1 car don't do that speed, does it?
Acceleration, but it never does 0 to, because of the grip. It's never going to launch as quickly. That's what it's going to be.
That's
That
what I'm
initial 0 to 300. Let's see here. So they say Formula One car does 0 to 200 in 4.2 seconds. So yeah, so essentially
It's replicating
a Formula One car.
Wow.
But you'll get the instant grip, because the Formula One car will just
Spin its wheels.
Yeah, so you would take. But still, I mean, it's similar.
But it's incredible.
That's why I asked, because obviously I've driven a Formula One car.
Here we go.
And I was thinking, that sounds similar to my experience.
Yeah, or when your head nearly come off and you hit the brakes.
What an experience.
Still goes around.
Yeah, unbelievable.
So the rest of the park was mega as well. Obviously, there's lots of other different rides you could do. You do the tyre change test.
Yeah, very cool.
We've done that. That's very cool as well. There's just lots to do there for all shapes and sizes and ages. So there's a bit of a museum there as well. So there's some cars on display and lots of merchandise you can buy. There was an engine you can buy. You buy an engine.
That's mad.
Yeah.
How much? What car was it for? More actually.
Yeah.
More importantly.
Well, it wasn't a real engine.
Challenge Stradale engine? Oh, I could do with the spare.
You could with the mileage on your car.
Well, let's go back again then, pre-Christmas, because I did some interesting test drives that I thought we could talk about. I took the GT3 in for its sort of premature service.
Yeah.
It had a few recalls that needed to be done. And then we obviously had that chip in the rear glass, that rear chip. So that was all being replaced, and I asked them just to give it sort of once over.
What happened?
Nothing, basically.
Unbelievable.
0%. So tyres, totally fine.
Yeah.
Brakes, totally fine.
Yeah.
So £0. So that's over 8,000 miles, a track day, and multiple European tours, and essentially the wearables, the consumables, £0. I mean, obviously something fell off the car, and it's got a few recalls, and I had to change the glass, but that's all covered under warranty. Yeah. So it's cost me nothing to run that car for the year, aside from fuel.
Bulletproof, and I'm not.
I actually was quite impressed by that.
I'm not surprised.
I was quite impressed by that. But yeah, whilst it was in getting that work done, Porsche Guildford lent me a Cayenne Hybrid. The new shape Cayenne Hybrid.
Well, we've seen one of them in action.
Well, yeah, so in Australia, we sort of had a ride in one, and it joined us on the sand dune day, and we were like, oh, that's quite impressive.
Yeah.
But we were also disappointed with the way it looked, and we were a bit like, yeah, it's capable, but snore.
Do you know what?
What?
I forgot we went in it.
Yeah.
That's how.
Well, yeah, underwhelming,
yeah.
So
we did actually go in it.
When they lent it to me, I was like,
snore
a little bit, because I was hoping they'd be like, here's your Dakar, because I'm dropping off a GT3, like, give me something spicy.
You'd have to go to Reading, mate.
Yeah,
that.
Still pull some favours. I'm a big dick customer.
If you've got a car, you know who I am.
Yeah, literally.
That sort of thing.
It's me, seeing through glass.
Yeah.
No, but anyway, so they'd lend me this Cayenne, and I was like, but I had it for 48 hours, and I had quite a lot to do with it, because I was going down to a Land Rover event in Somerset. So I was like, I'll see what's going on. And I text you being like, I'm in a bloody Cayenne, boring old
You done
car.
a me, didn't you?
Yeah, I was like, this.
Literally got in it fuming.
Yeah, I was like, it's boring.
So what is this?
It was so boring. But by good Lord, what a fantastic car. Yeah. So the interesting thing is whilst it's not particularly sexy or exciting, and the spec was very boring. I think it was black on black.
Yeah,
it might have been black on cream. This was not, I didn't go like, wow, what a great looking car. But everything not only worked so well, but genuinely made my driving experience better and easier.
Right.
I almost can't explain it. So let's try and go through some of the options. It had the most incredible LED lights that I've experienced to date. So I guess they're PDLS plus.
Yeah.
They did all these kind of wild tricks. So obviously, if you've driven a car with the latest light technology, they all have things where they sort of dim certain areas of the lights to not blind oncoming drivers, and they can be automatically high beam and low beam, and they read the road and they turn when you turn and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But this went a level above. So when I was on the motorway, they projected a light box onto the road about 10 or 15 feet in front of me, so that when I was driving, I always could see a sort of section of tarmac in front of me. So I could look for potholes or dead animals or I don't know what, but that was sort of brilliant.
Without blinding everyone in front of you.
Well, yeah, because it was dipped down.
Dipped down, yeah.
Just onto that sort of road. So that was genius. The Porsche InnoDrive, which is their adaptive cruise control, was brilliant because I got stuck in some traffic at one point and I could set it so it would manage the traffic for me. So up to 20 miles an hour, it would brake and accelerate and even keep me in the lane.
Drives on its own, yeah.
Basically drives on its own in traffic, which was
Steering
amazing.
wheel.
Yeah, well, yeah, you sort of have to keep your hand on a steering
Right,
wheel,
okay,
but
fine.
at those low speeds, it basically does it all for you.
Yeah.
So I was just sitting there listening to a podcast kind of in my own world.
Not our podcast.
No, I don't actually listen to our episodes back. Maybe I should.
Nor do I.
Maybe that would understand why we're not as big as we want to be. But massage seats, lovely. Kept me going for my long journey.
Perfect.
It was the hybrid technology, so it could self-charge itself.
Yep.
When you're doing higher speeds, it would self-charge the battery.
Porsche have had that technology for a while, though, to be fair.
Fair, but it was good.
Yeah.
What else do I have? But one of the best sound systems I've experienced, Burmeister sound system in that kind. Unbelievable.
Quite an expensive option, though, compared to
sure,
Bose.
I'm sure. It was just bloody brilliant. And I got to the end being like, well, I'm going to order one of these, aren't I? Like, what a fantastic family car.
Again.
Like, nothing exciting about it. Didn't drive it in sport mode. Didn't want to thrash it. Just as a car to live with, I thought, this just makes every journey effortless.
Well, I had one as a family car.
We did. You had the Cayenne Coupe.
Coupe, yeah, for about a year, 15 months I had it for, yeah, as a family car.
Did you get bored?
No, it's a bit of a blunt instrument, mate. Like a lot of German cars in general, you know, unless you're buying a GT car or an M car or an AMG, you know, the spicy version of the German cars, because they're so almost, I dare say, perfect, that it takes the character away, like we said before. So they just do a job.
Yeah.
But that's what most people want. They just want a car to do a job. And that's what it does.
Yeah, if not immaculately. Do you know what I mean? Like
exactly.
I've been so lucky to drive a lot of sort of, you know, family cars and daily drivers over the last 12 to 18 months. This thing, as unexciting as it was to get in, just ticked every box. So I went mad. I did a PTS spec and a Larry interior. And I think it was always coming out at around 105, 110 grand, which feels quite a lot for a Cayenne or a Stradale SUV. But actually...
Range Rover Sport Manual.
Yeah. Actually, when you get into it, it's not. That's actually kind of right. And the most interesting thing for me was my long-term i5 turned up pre-Christmas.
Yeah.
So I got the i5 M60, which we'll get into. We'll do a big chat about at some point.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's BMW's latest, greatest EV, fully loaded with tech. It takes selfies. It does all the sort of stupid stuff.
Selfies?
Yeah, genuinely,
From the inside or outside?
From the inside.
Oh, I've never heard anything so ridiculous in all my life.
Using the BMW app right now, shall I try and do it? I can use the parking cameras to see what's going on around my vehicle right now. I say,
yeah, but that is quite clever, to be fair. But
unbelievably clever.
Do you need
sort of pointless.
Yeah. Like, who cares?
I actually don't know how to do it. They told me I could do it. I actually don't know how to do it. Okay, well, let's find that out for
if you got a message from your wife saying there's a naked woman running around the car park, you'd be instantly on there taking a picture.
I'd figure it out straight away.
Exactly. But apart from that, it's useless.
Well, yeah, fair. But I got back into that from the Cayenne.
Yeah.
And I went, this is not as good somehow. Like, for example, mobile phone wireless charging.
Oh, yeah.
Almost all new cars have them. But whenever you use them, they seem to cook the phone, right? If you leave a phone in a wireless charging bay, you pick it up and it's red hot.
Well, GT3s have got it in the...
What?
Yeah, I've got wireless charging in my GT3.
In the glove box?
Yeah. But the problem is when
Do
you...
I?
Well, probably.
I don't think I do.
Oh, you've died. But so I've got it in my car. Yeah. And you shut the center console.
Yeah.
And the phone literally, it doesn't work because it gets so hot.
Yeah. Literally. Overcooks.
Yeah.
The Cayenne, it was a rapid wireless charger. that literally recharged my phone in like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Never got hot.
Oh, wow.
So just
Very
little things like that, and the lights and the sound system, and the i5 is very good and very impressive. And as I say, it deserves a bit more of a chat, but I haven't even filmed it for the main channel yet. So let's wait our time on that. But I just think that Cayenne, yeah, I say they smashed it. They don't tend to lose a lot of money, right?
No different to any other high performance SUV or luxe SUV. So you compare it to a Range Rover or an X5 or Q7 or a GLE, which is what they all compete with. The BMW, the Merc, and the Audi, yeah, they're all cheaper, but percentage of value, they're all similar, mate.
Because you always say that Audi RS products are some of the best, have the best residuals.
Yeah, because there's always a rule where after 3 years, most cars lose about 50% of their value, the higher end stuff.
Sure.
And then they slow down, roughly.
Okay.
So, but Audi RS cars in general are stronger than that. So M cars are the worst, obviously. But
how's your M3?
Terrible. but again, that happens really quickly. So normally in the first year or 18 months, they really fall out of bed. And then the next 18 months, they even themselves platter back out.
Yeah.
So the end result is still 50%. It's exactly the same.
Fine. Okay.
So yeah, it's just how they get there, basically.
And it's something that we're all going to have to re-familiarize ourselves with, right? Because that's essentially what has happened and what is happening on the market. And I think a lot of people talked about this over the Christmas period. I saw a number of videos, a number of podcasts, a number of tweets and things talking about the market. And everyone found out that Auto Trader extension where you could track prices, and people were
15
blown
months
away.
Too late. We've been talking about it for 15 months.
Well,
I
you
told
have.
you so. Yeah.
Who would buy that T-shirt, by the way? We've got some behind the glass merch coming imminently. Should we have one which just says, "I told you so"?
Told you.
And then Tony Gravelwood car sales. To be fair, you did try and warn everybody, but I think it takes a while for some of this stuff to trickle into the mass population.
Of
It's
course.
like EVs in general, right?
Yeah, yeah.
We saw last year people starting to step back slightly, even though more EVs were sold than ever before, at least registered or whatever.
Registered, yeah.
Than ever before. There was a more public or high-profile narrative around the struggles of living with an EV and charging. But we'd been talking about that for, again, as you say, 2 years.
Yeah,
so it takes a while, but definitely at Christmas, I saw a lot of people saying, like, oh, can you believe that 992 GT3s, for example, are cars? Suddenly now basically back at list.
It's everything though, mate. So
Everything's dropped.
everything.
So people were like, oh my God, can you believe it? I mean, look at my Cayenne Stradale. I mean, thank God for the market slowed down.
Yeah.
Otherwise I wouldn't have bought it. But people just sort of, caught wind of that as such. And so I guess now we've all got to get back into that mentality, which we haven't had for the last few years, which is you buy a car, it depreciates.
What people as well, people have always got loose memories. You know, they forget things.
Yeah.
So first of all, pre-19, we all used to lose money on cars, and we all had a lovely time in after COVID and 2021 where everything went up. And actually, if you think about it, you all made money on the cars that you sold in 2021. So you're all in front, and now you're just giving it back because now you've had the sharp fall again. You know, what goes up must come down. It was always going to recorrect itself. Like I said, it started to recorrect itself late 2022, and I saw the incline from then, the decline from then, all the way down to late 2023. And then obviously this last quarter, October, November, December, it had the really big, sharp fall. But that was always coming. That was definitely going to come. And now prices are back down to pre-COVID, or even probably a bit less. But if you take COVID out of the equation, essentially, we're still in front because you've had a period of time where you've earned money on stuff, essentially, and now you're just giving it all back. And we're the same as dealers. You know, quite a lot of dealers in the country would have found it hard last year, and finding it harder now. But we all earned a fortune in 2020 and 2021. So you're just giving a bit back. It is what it is.
Yeah, I think 99% of cars below the 300 grand mark are depreciating assets.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, you just got to get used to that or remember that and stop trying to play this game of, assuming you can get big overs for an RS3 that you ordered. So speaking about M3s, BMW recently got in touch saying that they're starting to do some offers again on cars.
Yeah.
So I think you mentioned that there was a ludicrous deal on the new M2. I had a good offer on a new X5M and stuff like that, just saying like, would I be interested in anything? And looking at what could replace the F-Pace SVR when that goes and things like that. But you start looking at it and go, okay, I got to remember that I will lose money in all this stuff.
Well, it's not just that. The manufacturers have now all caught up, and we've gone back to the mentality of pre-COVID. So back to the time where, main dealers have now got cars in a field and they're going to need to sell them. Yeah. So they do discounts on them. They do incentives on PCPs. But as we said before, and we need to do another episode on this as well, is that, when you buy a new car on PCP, in the last couple of years, you've managed to buy a brand new car, use it for a couple of years and not do your conkers. Now, when you buy a brand new car, you've got all the incentives. Oh, I've got 10 grand off this car. But the problem is you're not having a deal because everyone's getting 10 grand off. So it doesn't matter. Yeah. Your biggest problem is going to be, and it's not a problem, it'd just be how it's gone back to pre-19, is that when you do a PCP deal on a new car, you can't come out of it after a year because you're going to be in negative equity unless you put a big deposit. So,
and you're always going to come to the end when you go back and they also look, we set you up a deal so that when you get back, you'll be able to have a couple of grand that you can roll into the next car. And then you get back and they always
complete lie.
They go, sorry, mate, it's actually worth $5,000 less, but we'll call it evens.
Yeah.
So you haven't got,
and we get you in a new one.
Yeah, exactly.
And you literally just rent a car forever for the rest of your life.
PCP scam.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, let's watch the space. As you say, plenty to talk about. I think this year and the start of this year, we've got lots to discuss about market. And obviously, Stock Watch is going to be a fun part for us to do each week, sponsored or not, to highlight some of these cars and some of these opportunities that are out there as buyers and maybe warn you off things that could be, things to get out of quickly before they plummet even further. But just quickly, another test drive which I had prior to Christmas, quite a weird one, Defender 130.
Defender. Oh, that's like the extended.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this was the event that I was going to in Somerset. It was the 130. So they do a 7-seater and then a 5-seater. Mm-hmm. I'm not certain for this country. It makes a lot of sense. I mean, somebody that lives near me has got one. I'm like, how do you even park that thing?
I don't know why you'd want a 5-seater one.
So that's the, not the Outback, Outlander edition.
Yeah, but why would you want a 5-seat 130? What's wrong with a 110?
Because bigger boot.
Right.
It's for the explorer, the adventurer, someone who's got a lot of stuff to carry around and doesn't want the rear seats, wants a big boot. Because we've always said Defenders are slightly flawed by their boot size, the latest new ones.
Especially the 90.
Especially the 90.
The 90 for sure. 110's better, mate, to be fair.
But if you've got a couple of kids or you're someone who, I say, needs to load it up with bicycles or whatever, I can see why you would justify the price. Fundamentally, that's a car not for this market, right? That's an American and a UAE car, I think.
Probably. Yeah, probably, because they've got the Discovery.
Well, yes. Okay, well, that, of course, that's the big interesting thing is where you pitch the two. But Defender as a brand it says more. It says more about you. It attracts a different person. All I would say is, on the road, it didn't feel that massive.
Fair. But that's always the trick with modern cars, because I get people come here and obviously upgrading their cars and they go, the old car is smaller than the new ones, and especially the ladies or the not so confident men drivers, they go, it's really big, isn't it? It's not very. But actually, when you get in these modern cars, they seem to just shrink around you.
Yeah.
It's like, fine.
It's very clever. One of the things that I drove the V8 version.
Yeah.
Might shrink around me. Doesn't move very fast. It weighs about 7 tons.
Yeah, that's the problem.
I mean, that's definitely not a UK car, because that must have done about 4 mpg. It was quite fun to drive. It was hurtling along in the rain.
While we're on the subject of really big SUVs, what I saw in Dubai?
Oh, go on.
New Land Cruiser.
But wait, the new retro-styled one or the new?
I think it was just the new.
Yeah, because I think there's two. There's a one which looks like a carry-on from the previous shape, and then there's one which is kind of a retro-styled one.
Yeah, I think it was just a bit. It looked lovely. Nice big screens in it.
I've signed up for information about that car. Yeah,
you really?
Yeah, because I thought, I don't know what I thought.
It's a big chimney.
It come June, I lose the SVR, F-Pace SVR, and the i5.
Yeah.
So things are going to have to happen, Tony.
What
So
else have you signed up to? New Cayenne you're going to buy?
New Cayenne, but I'm not going to buy it. Like
Okay.
if I suddenly, like, hey, if next week we're sponsored by, where did you say, W Hotels? Yeah. There'll be a Cayenne on order.
Have they got a few quid? Oh, it's Marriott. Oh, yeah, they have, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll get involved then.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Bit of boom.
But yeah, I could never justify ordering a new Cayenne. That's too rich. So, but I just,
No, it's not, mate. You got some money.
no, mate. A 110 grand Cayenne. That is just, you're just putting your middle fingers up to the world, aren't you? Like, yeah, I'm so rich. It's
We
gonna
do that anyway.
brand new SUV for 110 grand. It's going
Yeah.
to lose half its money in 2 years.
Yeah, off camera, it's what you do. Just put your fingers up to everyone.
What,
off
just
camera.
drive around like Mr. Bean,
Yeah,
slagging everyone off.
like that, yeah.
Oh, well, I promise you I don't. Anyway, let's wait and see. So that's going to be a very interesting springtime. There'll be plenty of tire cooking going on. I'm sure you're all going to love that.
Loves it.
But anyway, that brings an end to our first episode of 2024. We are very glad to be back.
We are.
And it's been fun doing it here in your new handover bay. I'm sorry if it's been a little bit echoey. I think we've done well to limit that slightly. We'll be back in the studio next week. And as I say, a reminder, audio-only versions will be going live either Tuesday or Wednesday, so a day or two early. Extended versions, and then the main episode, as per normal, will go live on Thursday at midday. Oh God,
What's happened to you?
I don't know. Melted at the end. Only other things that we need to mention: live events. We will be back this year with some more live events. We want to basically do what we did a couple of years ago and go far and wide.
Yeah.
Because of the baby and various other commitments last year, we sort of crammed all of our shows into the last few months, and we did Australia and stuff like that. So this year we want to get back to getting out there, kind of coming to see more views. So all around the UK, we want to get to Northern Ireland, maybe Ireland, Scotland. We would do a show in Europe if we can figure out where it would make most sense.
Yeah.
So long story short, if you have a venue, a business, a dealership, whatever, that you think could host a Behind the Glass Live, you'd be interested in hosting a Behind the Glass Live, please get in touch, btg@seenthroughglass.com. Essentially, you need a large car park and the ability to seat a load of people inside.
And coffee.
Coffee.
Please.
Don't forget the coffee. But yeah, we've already got a few venues lined up. We're going to be making some announcements about the initial shows probably towards the end of the month. So don't worry, you'll have plenty of notice. And there are a few other slightly exciting announcements that are going to be coming in the next few weeks. So long story short, we're happy to be back and we've got lots to tell you. It's going to be a huge year. Come along for the ride. Please join us. Lots of exciting integrations ahead. But
Even
for now,
I'm excited, and I don't get excited about anything.
you don't get excited about anything, do you?
Anything,
He's
no.
a moody guy.
I'm a moody sod.
Anyway, if you want to follow Tony in the meantime, he's at Tony Gravelwood Car Sales. You can see some of his stock, like the stunning Ranger Sport SVR that is behind us today. If you want to follow me, I'm at Seen Through Glass. If you want to follow this podcast, don't forget we are on Instagram and TikTok. On Instagram, it's Behind the Glass __ podcast. Double underscore, just for impact.
Clarity.
Anyway, we'll be back with you next week. Bye-bye.
See ya.